truth will set you free, but first, it'll piss you off. Gloria Steinem. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for our 15th episode of Sex, Drugs, and Spirituality. Today, we're discussing how to explore dark conspiracy theories without losing your light. But before we dive into our main topic, please allow us a moment to introduce ourselves. I'm Jackie Lyons of Akashic Energy Healing.
And I'm Elizabeth Maria of Elizabeth Maria Unlimited. And together, we're the hosts of Sex, Drugs, and Spirituality, where we navigate the power of personal growth and self-discovery through exploration and acceptance of our shadow selves.
Welcome. I'm so excited for this topic. I have to say I started with conspiracy theories, I think long before the spiritual awakening, the draw of the conspiracy theories was there. Did you find that similar in your journey, Elizabeth?
I absolutely did as well. And I think that for, a lot of people, our listeners out there, that this is really, like going through this kind of stage of awakening is a part of the process. And Jackie, before, we get into the thick of it today, I did want to dedicate this episode to a friend of mine. Her name is Kristen, and she really, was the reason that we decided to start talking about this. She's, also going through her own spiritual awakening right now. And Kristen, wherever you are out there listening to this, thank you for the topic, and I'm sending you so much love and light. So let's get into it, Jackie.
Yes, thank you, Kristen. Well, yes, like we said, we're going to talk about a topic that does affect us all in many ways. We might not even notice how we're affected. But what we're going to discuss is how to stay informed about conspiracy theories without allowing the energy of fear to take control. In this situation, ignorance is not bliss. Knowledge, when it's used wisely, is powerful. It will help us to make informed decisions. So we want to understand different viewpoints as well as navigate the world with open eyes. But there is a fine line between being informed about these conspiracy theories or these darker topics or being consumed by fear. So I do want to start with another quote by Marie Curie. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. And this is such a powerful way to look at things. And when we approach conspiracy theories with the goal of understanding the depths of it rather than fear, we begin to kind of shift that narrative. And I want to talk about 3 key strategies that we can use to stay informed without allowing the energy of fear to overwhelm us. And the first thing I want to talk about is really seeking truth with a critical mind. Whenever we come across conspiracy theories, we want to approach it and ask questions. Like, we want to seek the evidence. Not everything we hear or read is true, but by discerning and using our discernment, we won't just take information at face value. We will learn to practice healthy skepticism that is essential for not falling into the trap of fear. The second point I want to make is about balancing our information. Just like a balanced diet is essential for our physical health, a balanced information diet is crucial for our mental health. Don't just consume content from a single source or focus solely on conspiracy theories. It's important that we mix it up. We want to read about science and history, culture, positive news too. There is positive news out there. You might have to look a little harder, but it's out there. And the variety will really help to maintain a positive perspective as well as keeping fear at bay. So the third item I wanted to touch on is creating a positive action plan. So when we are learning about conspiracy theories that actually seem plausible to us, instead of engaging in this panicking behavior, we want to think about positive actions we could take. So this could be starting for sure with fact checking. And we want to make sure that we are also spreading accurate information. We don't want to be engaging the community in additional fear-based programming. So we really want to make sure that we are not, and we're promoting a solid understanding of the topics that we're speaking about. So when we're focusing on these positive actions, we start to channel our energy into something more constructive rather than succumbing to the energy of fear, which is what we're really trying to avoid in this situation. So staying informed about these conspiracy theories without creating the energy of fear is a lot about balancing your intentions and approaching information with a crucial mind. Maintaining this balanced information diet and focusing on the positive actions will really help you to keep a maintained level and probably a positive mindset on this topic. So our goal is not to live in a bubble. We are accountable to be aware of what's going on around us, but we need to be able to do that without letting fear dictate our lives. And the last quote that I'll talk about is from Franklin D. Roosevelt. And he famously said that the one thing we have to fear is fear itself. So not allowing fear to be the lens through which we view the world. Instead, it's important for us to arm ourselves with this knowledge and this understanding and compassion so we can continue to stay curious about information. And most importantly, stay out of that fear-based energy. We want to get the information, bring it back, and then utilize that and continue to build off of it. And I know that at times I went down like a huge spiral into the dark web, well, the dark web too. And you hear about, I mean, there's a thousand things. And I think the best thing about what somebody told me is that to every like conspiracy, there's like some kind of like a little enough truth that makes it just enough believable that, you know, it seems plausible. So I really wanted to point out, I guess, with my 3 points, just using rationality and checking and checking and checking. Like there's just too much misinformation out there for us to assume that we can just take information from the internet, call it fact without doing our research. And that's really important to have as many facts as you can when you're navigating these type of topics. What's your thoughts on all that, Elizabeth?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Jackie, so much. And thank you for, you know, letting our listeners know about some different strategies that they can begin to do. Yeah. So really, you know, the first point that you were talking about, well, even before getting into the strategies about like, you know, how do we stay informed? So we know that, I mean, this is a, you know, this is a crazy, and I know that probably every generation is like, oh, this is such a crazy time in life, but this is a real crazy time in life, you know? And I love the quote by Michael Moore. You know, it's important to be informed, but not inundated, right? And so, you know, the power, I mean, it is designed, I mean, news itself is designed to instill fear in us, right? I mean, you know, the admin or, you know, the execs or whatever realize that fear holds people's attention longer, you know? And so so it's designed that way, you know, and so, you know, it's really important, to stay informed, but to not inundate, to not, just like you said, you know, get like so consumed by just the negative news, by just, you know, because there are, you know, guys, I mean, there's so much beauty in the world. And yes, the, you know, some of the conspiracy theories, and I mean, even the term, honestly, conspiracy theory is in itself like a very kind of triggering, you know, with a negative connotation within itself, you know. So these are, you know, like theories that, I mean, maybe are unpopular. So, you know, I really, when I talk about some of these ideas that are floating around, I usually say, you know, these are some unpopular opinions. You know?
Well, and another thing I'd like to point out is that, you know, because we're seeing so much stuff on the news, it's always like fear, and all this crazy stuff. And it does seem like we are living in the quietest, craziest time. But just as
Yes.
much as things are getting more negative or seemingly negative, there is that yin yang effect, right? So there's so much positive going on. Unfortunately, like Elizabeth says, it's not newsworthy. Nobody's out there
Right.
showing all the amazing things people are doing, because that's not what's drawing in the attention from those headlines. When
Right.
you're kind of get, like you said, the clickbaits, the words that draw people's attention into that kind of spiral of a fear-based, you start at the top
Yes.
and you can
Yes.
very quickly spiral down.
And, and we have to remember that, like the dark energies, the dark side, whatever out there, I mean, it's feeding on, fear. And
Yeah,
so, so if you're giving that, if you're in that place of fear, then you're just feeding the dark side and making it stronger. And
correct.
so I definitely love the idea of, especially, I mean, balancing, the information that you're getting. Like, so a good like action, like if you're someone that's listening that, finds yourself going down a dark conspiracy theory rabbit hole, counter that with maybe going down a positive rabbit hole, right? And learning about chakra healing, or healthy food, or find places in your community that are doing community gardens or something, just to kind of balance that energy, because I am a child that works for the light, and so I'm not interested in giving the dark side my energy. So that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Oh, and I was also thinking, like, even, I mean, some of the conspiracy theories, I also have to ask myself, okay, is this relevant to my journey
Mm-hmm.
in the light? And, because my journey as, and I don't even know if I 100%, if I'm even like 100% down with the term light worker. I don't know, because to me, it's not work. It's just, it's
You
the
just
reason
are
why
lit.
I'm here. Yes, we all are light. I mean, we choose to turn away from the sunlight of the spirit. And so, but, like,
We lost
oh,
you for a
oh,
while.
oh, shoot. Did he? Okay. Okay, let me, and I totally understand. Oh, yeah. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to mention was really to consider, like, how is this theory really serving me and my own evolution, right? Because really everything is an inside job. So really consider the types of conspiracy theories that you're drawn to, and ask, like, okay, why is it? Because there are some that I've heard, like, I don't know if you heard this one about Barack and Michelle Obama being, like, transsexuals or something like that.
Yeah, I think
And
I heard Michelle
yeah,
was. I mean, or no, who it
yeah,
was? It was Joan Rivers, I think it was, who said
right.
it
I mean,
like
there's
boldly out into a camera.
right, right. And then, yeah, and that's why she was, killed or offed or whatever. So my
Oh, I
reasoning,
didn't hear that part of it, but okay. Yep.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
See,
mean,
how far do you
that's
want to go down the hole?
exactly. And then my thing with that one was like, okay, how is, like, for me, and and guys, I would love for y'all to chime in to give your perspective on this, but how is knowing that information, like, really going to change my mind about, like, his presidency, or his
Yeah, I see what you're
contribute
saying. Like, would it make it, say it was true? Say she was born a man. What
right,
difference does it make?
yeah,
Really?
exactly, like,
Besides the
yeah,
fact that it was something they kept a secret, does it
right,
change actual, you know, the time he spent in office or the benefits of the work that she's done? I'm not from America,
yes,
but I do know there was a lot of amazing things that she had
yeah.
accomplished during that time. So yeah, exactly. I hear what you're saying on that. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So I just am like, really, I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories that, I mean, could be, and again, I would love to hear what our audience thinks about this, but, could be, we just don't know what is true and what's a smear campaign and what's, you know what I mean? It's just, there's just so much
What's
information
just a
out there.
distraction? Another
Exactly.
distraction, right?
Exactly. And really, I mean, all of it is a distraction, I think, because,
Mm.
in actuality, we're here to walk our journey, spread our light, be the beautiful, wonderful, humans that we are, creating, building, manifesting, loving, you know? And so all of this, like, all of the, even and I know that some of the theories aren't theories; they are actualities,
Well, yeah, if we
But
were talking about some of this stuff 20 years ago and all the things that were conspiracy theories that it turned out to be true, and I think that's why they've gained so much popularity over time, is because people are waking up to the fact that there is a lot of truth to some of these stuff.
yes,
And as years and years went by, and our parents were young thinking no, and now it's proven yes. Well, I mean,
right.
that's why I think it engages people so easily.
It does. It does. And, that kind of brings me to, our next topic, which is really beginning to understand the appeal of conspiracy theories, because they can be captivating, and they do offer alternative explanations to mainstream narratives. And, as more of our collective is evolving and awakening, it's like we're seeing how so much in our culture collectively has been inverted and the truth hidden from us, And so it's like conspiracy theories, they really appeal to, our desire to make sense out of some really crazy complex events called this world. I
Yeah.
mean, because I mean, just like being alive is like, what the hell are we doing here? So it helps people to understand, like, it's just like the philosophers, like the age old questions, it's like, why are we here? But, like Jackie, you've touched on, it is really important to understand and to approach them with a critical mind, and so, one, like I said, like, really ask yourself, why is it that this, like, because if we're under the assumption, and this is the Neville Goddard's idea of, we are like God pushed out, right? Or like whatever is internal is put is pushed out to the external, right? And so whatever you're feeling on the inside is what you're reflecting and seeing on the outside. So if you are someone that is spending I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day reading about conspiracy theories, then what does that say about where you are internally? And so I feel like it is a stage in the evolutionary and in evolving in the spiritual development, because I mean, really, conspiracy theories kind of, and becoming aware of conspiracy theories is a stage, because it really lies in like the fourth, like 4D, right? And so it's like, we have begun to see a lot of, what we thought was true about our society, about culture, and everything, and seeing how a lot of the information has been manipulated and, almost inverted. I mean, I remember a period in my spiritual awakening where I was like, what's up is down, what's right is wrong, like everything, like they say, it's like the opposite is true. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, and so it can be overwhelming. And so it's important to like keep an open mind about like, okay, why am I falling it? Why am I reading about, Michelle Obama, or why, what does that say about where I'm at in my own evolutionary journey? And it's also, I mean, guys, and I mean, I'm pretty fucking woo woo. I mean, I'm like totally down with the giants and fairies and the ETs. I mean, I'm like pretty, and it's not, honestly, it's just through experience. And I mean, I've, have definitely encountered some supernatural events in my life. However, it is so important to really research the origins, right? And so understanding like really where this theory originated, right? And beginning to, distinguish fact from fiction. And I know that honestly, I mean, fact, all facts are subjective. And, really quantum physics shows us that, there can be four people sitting in a room, and every truth that each individual sees is different, based on our, the lenses that we're seeing through, our thoughts, like how, I mean, all of that. So, you know,
yeah, and I
but
like to
yeah,
think that, if you can really center yourself in your heart, you will, or, kind of have that inner knowing of, what you need from that, top
yes,
thing. Like, I kind of think you can break through a lot of it just by kind of asking yourself that from your heart spaces. I know
yeah,
our own minds can sometimes be a dangerous place.
absolutely. And I just told a friend this today, like, the key is to begin to use your mind as a tool, not allow the mind to use you as a tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, the mind can, go to some pretty crazy places. And so, I mean, like basically, the term, and this is definitely a term I feel like is now overused in the spiritual community, but take what resonates with you and leave the rest. So, so some, some different strategies to stay informed without, staying inundated in it is, just, you can read about something or you can talk about something without getting overwhelmed, because that, like we talked about, like fear is an energy, and it's designed, I mean, there's a lot of things in our world that are designed to create fear because it's such a powerful energy, and so is getting overwhelmed. If you're overwhelmed and you are in a state of anxiety, then you are less productive, you know what I mean, because you basically have gone to a state of fight, flight, freeze, right? So you're in survival mode, so you can't think strategically long term as well, right? And so it gets in the way with your own, with your own productivity, right? And so it's important to, ask questions. I mean, who is benefiting for, and always, I mean, honestly, ask that about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I used to tell my students that, like, always ask who is benefiting from this theory, right? Or from this, information, or from, like whatever, from this rule or from this law or whatever, who's benefiting. And, is there evidence out there that may refute it, and look and be willing, because if you come across a news source that is unwilling to discuss any other narrative except for their own, then that can be a sign, that maybe it's not as credible as other sources, because, what are they trying to hide? Why wouldn't they want to engage with the opposition? Because, I mean, opposing viewpoints is what makes our world such a beautiful, colorful place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. And then, and like I said, like, so just, consider all the perspectives without getting like a tunnel vision. Nope, this is it. The world is flat. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm,
Oh,
and
speaking of which, yeah.
yeah. And the thing is with that conspiracy theory, I'm like, again, like, does it matter if it's round or flat? One. And two, like, and I will say, as an opposing viewpoint, there was a time in history that people were telling that everyone thought it was flat, and the people that said that it was round were the crazy ones. You know what I mean?
Well, and
So,
lately my mind on these things have kind of switched to, because it's a new topic that's really kind of taken a lot more energy, especially this specific one, the flat earth, round earth. And I guess because I kept thinking about it, I even asked some flat earthers a question and totally got my head ripped off. Not very friendly with the information over there on the flat earth pages. But to me, I realized that, it's clear that we're not being told the entire truth. And now I am thinking this is just another distraction to keep us separated, to keep us arguing, to keep us from connecting and, joining forces to find out what's going on. So my opinion, it could be round, it could be flat. Somebody's lying to us. We should all get together and figure out who it is, and then go up there and find out for ourselves.
Right.
With the right people who are going to tell us the right information. But I do feel now that a lot of this is just to keep us distance from each other, to create dysfunction between different groups that obviously are, starting to open their mind to the fact that we're not being told everything. And now we're fighting amongst each other, and that discord is just creating more of that fear energy. And anyways, I went around there, but man, the flat earth guy got me all mad.
Yeah, and that is huge because, Jackie, I've seen that in the spiritual community. Like, there's some spiritualists will say, okay, like, I mean, even with how I choose to read tarot versus, oh, you're not doing that right, or oh, this or that's evil, or this is good, and a lot of that is it's just division, and it's it's just furthering the agenda of keeping us divided. So I totally get that. And I think it's also, a lot of people, again, like, if you like being open to all possibilities, like, okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, and that's okay either way, or all the ways, because there's never an either or. That's a fallacy.
And nobody knows how the answers either. Like, some of these people who love to pretend that they do, you don't. Sorry.
Yeah,
I wish there was a person out there that just had every single answer. But even if you said you did, I'm not going to believe you.
Right. And usually when
I was like, that's a little too egoic for me to believe that you have the answers. I used to care so much, and I used to actually be very offended easily. And, now I just realized, I'm like, I'm not going to engage in arguing with you about this topic, because it's just creating this more and more disconnection in this energy, and it's not worth it. I don't care. I can't change anything about that right now. Like you said, yes, it would affect a lot of things, understanding the true nature of, our earth, but really, is it affecting me right now in this moment, in this second? If it's flattered, like, not really. I'm like, I got bills to pay. I got, that and the other, dinner to make, and 4 kids. And, I'm like, am I going to go down that path with this guy who's not being very friendly? All he's doing is getting me mad. So I lost. He won.
Right.
He aggravated me. I gave him my energy. He aggravated me.
Yes. And that's what
I didn't take
want.
the bait. So
yes.
And there was a time I would have, because I love my round earth. I mean, don't get me
right.
don't make me justify my beliefs to you. It doesn't matter in the bigger scheme of things right now. Like, but yeah,
I just love you, Jackie.
I had to check myself. I did. I had to be like, pull it back, Jackie. It's not worth your loss. It's his, it's not worth your energy.
And so that is, definitely knowing when to take that step back. Right. Okay. And so, and that's all about, like, and I mean, if this is just, the beginning of just, and like anything that we do. I mean, I love the Episcopalians for, everything in moderation, except including moderation, and so give yourself time limits, okay, before, you know, consuming conspiracy theory information for like 4 hours or whatever. But also, do give yourself kind of body scanned, like an emotional check, and see how, like, okay, when you read something, or you listen to something, see how it's affecting your physical body. How is it, affecting your mental health? Because I mean, the mind, again, I mean, we're supposed to use the mind as a tool, but the mind isn't what decides really what is right or wrong. It's the heart and it's the gut, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so listen to your body when, you consume this information, and see, because the body will tell you if this is something that you need to be reading about, or if you're, like Jackie said, just giving energy, where it really doesn't need to be, so just make sure to do that. um and then also, again, going back to seeking, credible sources. And this is definitely my academic training, but, I mean, I got to fact check and then double fact check and then triple fact check. And then, and I know that, the thing is that even though I have my academic training, I'm also someone that, I mean, I totally believe in the elementals because I have had experiences, and so even if, and this is kind of like the idea of everyone's truth is their truth. And so just like, so for the flat earthers, the earth is flat. For people that like the round earth, the earth is round. For people that believe in fairies, there are fairies. For people that, you know what I mean? And so it's just about, honoring your own truth without having to discredit someone else's,
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And we can be friends with people with opposing views. I
Exactly.
love having spirited conversations with my friends with opposing views, the ones that aren't, that we can have real open conversations. There's no, hurt feelings in the end, which is this, because I learned so much about topics that maybe I didn't research enough. And
Exactly. Yeah. And just, staying open, and just, and again, like, I mean, we're not saying don't learn about, the world at large. And I mean, some of these more unpopular theories or conspiracy theories, but be open to all of the perspectives. And then really, again, like, really just, whatever is resonating with you and whatever feels good to you and right, for you, then that is your truth, and that's okay. It's so important to, have a balance of your awareness, and, and have that balanced with your, really your own well-being, right? And so, because conspiracy theories can evoke, a sense of dread in some people, it is imperative to find, this balance between, again, being informed about stuff, but also maintaining your own mental peace. And so, mindfulness is huge for this, right? And meditation. And so, mindfulness basically means be in the present, right? And so if you find that you are going down a rabbit hole, eh, just as like a distraction to maybe not do something that maybe, is better in alignment with your evolution, right? Then, or getting you out of your present moment, then that's a distraction and is not helping to, kind of to help you with your growth and development as a human.
Mhm.
And so you can do things like, get mindful through any type of meditation practice, right? To really ground that energy. If you find yourself on your phone for 2 or 3 hours, put the phone down, go outside, take your shoes off, and wiggle those toes in the grass, get
Yes.
grounded. I mean, or if you don't have any grass around you, just at least get outside and walk around a little bit and get some fresh air. I mean, just moving your body sometimes can, help reduce that anxiety that can be created by these types of topics, right? And then again, like we've been saying, definitely you know, discussing these theories with friends or on forums to get new insights, not to, reinforce your own, the insight that you already have on it, to see what else is out there, you know. And I also feel that, and I don't know if we really went into this too much in the outline, but I do want to, um, you know, let our listeners know that there are ways to also protect our energy, like even before getting on your computer or before getting on your smartphone or whatever. You can use crystal protection. I'm actually right now, as we're speaking, I am holding what is it, the oh god, selenite crystal with me, to help with protection. Because even honestly, talking about some of these theories can bring in negative energy, even if you're not aware. It can literally, the negative energy can come through your screen. So what is it? Black tourmaline is also really good for protecting your energy. You can also create, I love the idea of like a bubble of protection. And I do this, I mean, a lot. As someone who does shadow work, I have found myself in some pretty dense areas. And I will kind of do a mantra that's like, protect my energy, protect my space, protect my energy, protect my space. Or I will imagine like a bubble of protection, or like, I love the idea of like a cloak of love, where you just,
I always, and that's what I tell my clients too, almost like that little nursery rhyme, I'm rubber, you're glue, anything that you say bounces off you.
yes,
And like, so I imagine like this bubble, and anybody's like negative energy is like boing, bloop, going like right back to sender, return.
yes, yes. And so, for the listeners out there, I mean, dark energy is real. And so, if you are diving into these conspiracy theories all day, every day, then protect yourself and protect your energy. It's so important to stay informed about what's going on in our world, right? And we can stay informed about the newest unpopular theories that are out there without fostering an environment of fear, right? And this is a really delicate balance, right, guys? It requires us to think critically, not just to accept everything that's out there. Use a discerning eye for credible sources, right? Have that self-awareness about our mind, body, spirit, well-being. Protect your energy, protect your space. Get outside, do your grounding, do your mindfulness exercises. And by adopting these strategies, right, we can become informed humans of this earth, right? But not like so pulled down into that negative energy that we are incapable of taking care of the things that really bring us joy. Remember what brings you happiness and focus on that. you know and There's a wonderful, wonderful quote by a philosopher, and I am not going to try to pronounce his name. Just
I've
gonna
tried
throw
to
that out
like,
there.
I even did the voice thing, and I'm still like, no, I'm no.
Yeah, I think it's like Schopenhauer or something like that. Yeah.
Arthur Schopenheimer.
Anyways,
We
yeah.
tried.
Yeah, we did, but the quote is excellent. So all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. So, let this help you with your own path to be open, to be skeptical and, you know, to have courage, right? Because some of these unpopular theories aren't based in fact. And so having the courage to look at, some of this, even if you don't want to believe it, you're learning how to really, open up and see a wider part of this world, right? And by beginning to learn how to control our fears, we can begin to transcend them, right? And in this age of misinformation, it is a truly revolutionary act to do this, right? So approach conspiracy theories with a balanced mindset, right? This is not just beneficial for you guys, but it's essential. It's essential for the evolution of our mother Gaia and for us as individuals, right? To find a balance in this and not be consumed with that fear because that's what they want. Okay. So don't give it to them, right? So stay curious, guys, stay cautious. And most importantly, stay grounded.
Yes. Oh, I love
Yes.
that. That's that's a great ending to that little. I mean,
Yes.
you that's exactly, and that's how I embody these topics going like as of now, like a lot of things, especially the one I get drawn into is The Simpsons. Like The Simpsons is always
Oh,
my
yeah. That's a
go-to
fun
show, and
one.
the fact that either they're predicting the future or people are you know I don't know, or people, or it's just there somebody is playing out episodes of The Simpsons in real life after the fact to fuck with us. Who
Right,
knows?
right. Who
Like
knows?
either
It's
way, it shows a
fun.
level of like you know
I
craziness
think,
that I could get sucked into so quickly because
yeah,
it goes
yeah,
back so far. Like some of these things
it
happen 30
does.
years later, and the one I can't get past is the one where they were at the Met Gala in the outfits, and they had the
Oh,
Simpsons walking the runway in outfits that happen to then appear at a Met Gala pretty much exactly the same. It was so creepy. I had to be like, oh, yep, that guy's
wow. I haven't
supposed to
seen
be
that one or heard about that one, but let me tell you, I'm pretty sure that Matt Groening is a time traveler. I'm just saying.
he is. I think it's widely known that he is something degree Mason in the
Mm,
Illuminati and or the
mm,
Freemasons, I guess that's what it's called. Another
right.
conspiracy theory we would say, but the
Yeah,
guy is
that's
tapped
a good
into
place to.
something, right? Otherwise,
Yes.
what's her name? The girl from Vogue, Anna. What? Anna Winter. She decided she watched an episode of The Simpsons and then decided to create the Met Gala based off that episode. Like that seems even more far fetched. So I was like,
Right,
either
right,
way, something's up with that one. But I guess we'll just stay tuned for what The Simpsons will predict next because
right. And
they're
it's
pretty
so
good at
funny
it.
that we leave off with a conspiracy theory and
Well,
the
I
topic
did
of
want to
time
ask you because
travel.
I wanted to know what was the one conspiracy theory that really drove you insane? Like, was
Oh, me?
it? I know you mentioned the Michelle Obama, but that's
Oh
fairly recenter
gosh.
than.
I went through, I mean, I guess like 2019, 2020 was when I really started seeing a lot of, the conspiracy theory type stuff. And and again, like I said at the beginning, it is, it is a stage of the spiritual awakening, because it's really moving, and it does show that you're moving from like the 3D to the 5D, and the 4D is the middle. So you just don't want to get stuck in it. But I would say that one for me, God, well, I mean, this was some pretty, like, the idea of billionaires not collecting money anymore, but collecting souls. That was really, I mean, that,
Oh,
yeah, that's pretty
devouring the
dark, man.
souls. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
pretty
dark one.
dark. Yeah. And and that one like freaked me out so bad. I mean, I was just like, and so like with that one, I was just like, okay, if this is the case, it didn't, but honestly, it didn't make me like a billionaire hater or anything, because I know that within every, wherever there is darkness, there's also light, period,
There is.
and so it really depends on what it is you want to see. So if you want to see billionaires collecting souls, then that's what you're going to see, but for me, I'd rather have benevolent billionaires that are building beautiful education centers, and helping the people that are experiencing being houseless, and I mean, so that's what I would rather focus on. So again, it's about like really shifting into, and that's really, when you begin to move into that 5D, is like, because for every negative, there is a positive, and it's just
Mhm.
your choice of what you want to see and what you want to give your energy to.
And something I'd like people to also be mindful of, the more you watch those things on your phone, the more you get them. And they will, so
Yes.
I will notice, when I get into a couple of them and then they start like populating my feed over and over, then I switch over to like some more positive and balance it back out, because social media was a really big thing for me, especially when I was at the early stages of my awakening. The negativity that was on my social media was too consuming, and this was around COVID, and people were very much starting to wake up to the fact that there was a little bit more going on than we were being led to believe. And it was, kind of around that time, but I noticed that a lot of people still stayed in that headspace and they were never able to get
Right.
out of it, and now they're still engaging in that same stuff, and they bring it up to me and I'm like, that happened 2 years ago, right? Like,
Right.
and like you had said in an earlier part of this, is that who's benefiting, right? and,
Right.
and they but they kind of just stuck like laser focused to this one thing instead of expanding the idea a little bit further as to how far reaching it is, and balancing out that energy with some other things, and they're still there, and
Right.
really no
And it
talking to them about it. So that's all their feed. Everything on social media is that, like, it's just keeps pouring in and they keep engaging more. And that's what I think we're talking about when we say these rabbit holes where you just can't get out. And
right. It's like you can get stuck there,
yeah,
so it's
so I'm so
so
hoping that today's episode gave you guys a little bit of tips and tricks as to how to manage that in a healthy way. I think that is the really important thing, is just keeping ourselves
yes.
balanced when it comes to
Yes.
our extracurriculars, because we want to be informed, right?
Yes.
We can't have our head in the sand, but we also can't be living in fear. So it's a nice balance we're working on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for joining us today. This was a good one because we
Yes.
really got to talk and understand about how we can begin to explore these darker conspiracy theories without losing part of our light. So I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode as much as I do. And I want you to know that your comments and your perspectives are so important to us. So we are always happy for you to reach out. Thank you to everybody who has reached out to us so far. But if you yourself, much like Kristen, who gave us our beautiful topic for today, if anybody else has a question or a topic for us to explore on our show, please do go ahead and send us an email to sex, drugs, and spirituality podcast at gmail.com.
And if you'd like to contact us about our individual client offerings, please click the link in our description and be sure to mention that you heard about us on Spotify. We look forward to connecting with our spiritual community at 11 p.m. EST every Saturday on Spotify to explore and integrate the shadow side of our reality.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Sex, Drugs, and Spirituality Podcast. Elizabeth Maria, Unlimited LLC. And Jackie Lyons of Akashic Energy Healing is not responsible nor liable for any advice, course of treatment, diagnosis, or any other information, services, or products that you obtain through this website.